Verbal or life.
The media knows which way the wind's blowing, so they're trying to stir things up. The George Floyd death and the riots that followed energized the base and kept the black vote in the Democrat column. And now the media is trying to run it back. But we caught them. 3 weeks ago, Dexter Reed, out of Chicago, shot by police during a traffic stop. He's black. 100 shots were fired. Here's
another police shooting, and the media and politicians are back to trying to blame police officers for this. But let's take a look.
the family.
Why does the police keep doing this to young black African men? If he was supposed to get pulled over for a traffic stop, why did they have 4 guns pointed at him? He was scared.
He had just bought his new car 3 days before that, and he was just riding around in his car. He said, "Mom, I'm going for a ride." And they killed him. They killed him. They killed him.
Reed's family's upset, and we're so sorry. There's nothing like losing a child.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario, when a life is lost.
But they're not telling you the truth. Dexter Reed opened fire on police. After he was pulled over, he shot at police first, and they returned fire. His gun was recovered, and he'd emptied his clip. We'll show you the video in a second, but look at these headlines. Seatbelt violation ends with black man dead on Chicago street after cops fired nearly 100 bullets. Police fired 96 shots in 41 seconds, killing black man during traffic stop. Deadly Chicago traffic stop where police fired 96 shots raises serious questions about use of force.
So this is the media trying to divide the country, trying to keep the idea that racism exists. They really go overboard every time something happens to try to divide the country. So this is all the media trying to divide us. At a point where the truth is, well, you know what? Let's take a look at the narrative. What really happened? And let's try to decide, was it really racism or something else?
Not one of those headlines tells you that Reed is the one who started the shootout. The media is looking for another George Floyd to divide and conquer with.
So even if he didn't start, the fact that he had a gun on him, a fully loaded gun that could have killed somebody, killed a cop, that's crazy. So I think I've read reports saying that he didn't shoot first, but still at the end of the day, why are you carrying a weapon? That's tough, man. What do you think? Let's keep listening.
And the Chicago mayor is in on it.
As mayor and as a father raising a family, including 2 black boys on the west side of Chicago, I am personally devastated to see yet another young black man lose his life during an interaction with the police.
An interaction?
Like, shouldn't politicians be trying to bring us together and trying to say words that connect people instead of separate or divide people?
Action with the police. He opened fire on police, and police did what they're trained to do: return fire until the threat to their lives and to the lives of their fellow officers is neutralized.
I mean, anybody getting killed is a horrible thing, right? But if in this incident, if a cop would have gotten killed, oh man, horrific scenario. Also,
what the media won't tell you is that Dexter Reed didn't want to go back to prison because he was awaiting trial on gun charges. He'd also just been arrested for shoplifting. Viewer warning, this is the body cam footage of the shooting, and it shows a very different story than what the media is presenting.
on top of that, this is a crazy, crazy scenario. We have an individual shooting at police officers. Let's take a look at how CNN covered this, because even CNN is responsible for this. Let's take a look. At least try to paint a narrative that, hey, we need to bring it together. Let's not walk around with guns aiming at police. That is scary because we got to protect police officers. Let's take a look at this.
Chicago police firing 96 shots in 41 seconds at one man in a deadly traffic stop last month that killed 26-year-old Dexter Reed. Newly released body cam video shows what led to this all. Police say they pulled Reed over for not wearing a seatbelt. When officers approached his SUV, the situation quickly escalated. CNN's Omar Jimenez spoke exclusively to the family of Dexter Reed and has their reaction to seeing the body camera video that was just released a few hours ago.
What was your reaction to seeing that video?
It was terrifying.
For Dexter Reed's sister, his mother,
Oh, Lord Jesus, please help me.
and his entire family, what played out on newly released body camera video is nothing but pain.
They shot him down like an animal. Why did they shoot him them many times? He's already dead. Why you study shooting him like that? They killed my son and they killed me too.
March 21st, 2024, Chicago police are initiating a traffic stop on a driver.
So you got what, 4 officers approaching your car and giving you instruction. I mean, why are we arguing and debating anything? These are police officers who are regular people, but with guns and the right to kill. It's a tough scenario. Comment down below, what do you think would be the proper thing to do? At this point, I see 3 police officers right there around your car. What would you have done? You know? I just see it as, I would have just, if I had a gun, put it on the dashboard, raise my hand, and just comply. There's no need to fight or argue with police. Oh, there's no need to argue with people with guns in their hands. Let's see.
Reportedly for not wearing a seatbelt, according to the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. A traffic stop being conducted by 5 tactical officers.
Roll the window down. What are you doing?
Roll this one down.
Roll that one down too.
Like, what are we doing at this particular point? Oh, man.
Hey, don't roll the window up. Don't roll the window up.
Okay.
Do not roll the window up. Unlock the doors now.
The temperature quickly escalates. One officer puts what appears to be his gun on the windshield. Reed then fires first, hitting an officer in the forearm, according to the initial investigation. Then, chaos.
You heard what they just said? He hit a police officer in the forearm. That's crazy. Not just any police officer. I believe it was a black police officer. Here, let's keep listening to Jesse Water explain the shooting.
Tried to murder a police officer in cold blood just to stay out of jail. 11 shots were fired by Reed. He only stopped shooting because he ran out of ammo. Now, knowing all of that, this is how CNN described the incident.
Chicago police firing 96 shots in 41 seconds at one man in a deadly traffic stop last month that killed 26-year-old Dexter Reed. Newly released body cam video shows what led to this all. Police say they pulled Reed over for not wearing a seatbelt. When officers approached his SUV, the situation quickly escalated.
Well, why did it escalate, Jake? Police shootings can be complicated. We know, but this wasn't.
A police stop is like the scariest thing. You're approaching a vehicle that you have no idea if they got guns in there. So here you got police officers, regular people scared for their life themselves, but they're trained professionals. But I mean, comment down below, what do you think should have happened? This is a tough situation or a tough scenario to be in.
Are police supposed to just allow themselves to be shot at and then let the shooter drive away? The media also won't tell you this. Some of those officers were black. The one who got shot was black. And trust me, this won't be the first time between now and November that the media tries to pull something like this. So stay alert. Nationally syndicated radio host Dana Lash joins me now. Dana, this isn't even complicated. The fact that they're trying to twist this and sell this as somehow controversial or an egregious act by cops, what does that tell you?
Well, Jesse, it tells me that they need to get out the vote mechanism, because Democrats can't sell voters on the economy, and they can't sell it on stability internationally. So they have to come up with some way. And racial strife, that's Democrats' calling card. They've been doing this for years. We've lived through this since we were kids, Jesse.
Yeah, dividing people based on race. We got to work on bringing people together. I don't see it as a black and white thing. I see it as just safety. People trying to live.
But to this, you mentioned the media with this. Washington Post buried the fact that it was Dexter Reed who fired the first shots. And he didn't just fire shots. Everyone needs to understand, Reed mag dumped into these cops. He emptied his entire magazine into these.
That's crazy.
Police. Jesse, if I get pulled over and I mag dump at the cops who are pulling me over and asking me questions, guess what? Same response, because you present a fatal threat to the law enforcement officer, and they are going to use lethal force to neutralize that threat. That is standard operating procedure. And a lot is talked about when it comes to bad policing, but everything that I saw in this video was good policing. These police protected their community from a lethal threat that presented itself to them, and they deserve our thanks.
I mean, is it true? What do you think? Did they really help the community out? Because at the end of the day, we have a gentleman in a car with a loaded gun and wasn't afraid to just empty out the clip on the cops. I mean, how brave is that man? Or how insane is that? I want to say criminal, but he did shoot a police officer in the arm.
Not criticism, not condemnation, not stupid politicians trying to use this to save themselves at the ballot box. They deserve thanks. Now, as far as the media on this, shame on the media. If it bleeds, it leads, Jesse, is a saying for a reason. And they're using this to save their bottom line, to save their ad dollars, and they're using this to help their friends, the Democrats, get reelected. It's shameful. It's sickening. And one last point about the mother who's crying about this. Where were you when your son had his priors? Where were you when your son was illegally in possession of a firearm? Where were you when the recidivism, your son was going from street to prison, street to prison? Where are these parents? They find the cameras fast enough, but they're not there when their kids need them.
Yeah, absolute disaster everywhere. Dana Lash, thanks so much.
That's a tough one. I mean, that's a hard call, right? So I'm assuming, just looking at the video, that he didn't want to open the door because he had a gun. He had prior arrests, and he didn't want to go back to jail. But that's the worst time to argue with police officers. And look what happened. A life is lost. I feel sorry for the family, and at the end of the day, the police had to do what they had to do just to save the community or just to save themselves. One guy getting shot in the arm, that's insane. How's he going to deal with it now? Now when he approaches his car, he's going to be super duper cautious or extra cautious about it because of what just happened. He got shot in the arm. But that's a tough case. I hope it doesn't divide the country, and the media and politicians need to, instead of putting out that racism exists, how about putting out that racism doesn't exist? It's over. In my opinion, there is no more racism. There's evil people, criminals, and there's good people. And that doesn't have a color or a gender. That's how it is. Good people and bad people. Stop talking about black people, Latinos, and other races. No need to divide, because it seems like politicians want to come into politics talking about helping and saving and doing something for the community when there is nothing to be done, especially when it comes to racism. Think about it. Why are you trying to say there is racism and this is how I'm going to help? This is what I'm going to do. The politicians, the media, they're working together to just divide people and divide us. And we have to be strong and just say, no, let's focus on what really needs help. Like all these homeless people sleeping on the street, they need help. Let's focus on that. Immigration, we have open borders. Help me with that. That's where the media needs to focus. Bringing prices down. How are you helping my pocket, my money? But they're stuck on racism, and that's what they want to keep campaigning and talking about. So the politicians are wrong for it, and the media, mainstream media, is wrong for it. So it's like they're working together to just make sure that the country stays divided, and we just keep thinking about racism instead of thinking correctly that we're dealing with criminals. That individual with a gun, sad that he was killed, but going around with a gun, shooting at police, emptying out a whole clip, I think it's just operating procedures. Police got to stop the firing or the shooting at all costs. So they went all in with 96 shots, making sure they stop the danger. But let me know what you think. My name is Noel, battling MS, here at Verbal on Life, trying to create a platform where you can be verbal on life. If you stuck around for this long and you're still watching, go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, but I need your help. So continue delivering information and keep putting out videos. All right? So make sure to subscribe, and we're going to keep putting out videos informing people where we're at or information that you should know. All right? Peace.
Verbal or life.
All right. What else should we talk about? Yeah, I think that was a good video. I think people need to be informed the fact that racism doesn't exist anymore. Period. Grew up in New York, and I noticed there is no racism in New York. A whole bunch of people just moving around, and there's some evil people and there's some bad people. I mean, there's some evil, bad people, and there's some good people. That's it. That's the truth. And these criminals, we got to deport them, lock them up, or you just cannot go around hurting others. Try to get money by taking it from other people. Come on now. Where are we? What are we doing? Insane. All right. I really like that Jesse Waters, who is just being a centrist. I like the point that he makes, and it sort of makes sense. Now, I'm going to work on my other video, take this time to edit my video on Donald Trump, because Trump is showing in the polls, and I'm going to put out a video giving him credit for it. Let me work on my channel. Peace.